Hello, we are Group B1 and we are going to work on educational progress of children that haven't studied at bilingual schools.
Nowadays, not knowing how to speak English fluently is the main issue of the 21st century.
Recent studies show that most Spanish citizens have a generally low level of English.
And because of this, more and more Spanish schools are thinking of changing to a bilingual system where the children will course some of their subjects in English.
In fact, there are already a lot of schools that have become bilingual because fortunately the government is trying to establish a new bilingual project.
This new project consists of every single school becoming bilingual for the year 2017. This will be a big challenge for the whole country, not only the teachers and students.
Hello, my name is Holly Terry and I'm going to be interviewing my mum, Deborah Terry. First question, what's it like teaching and speaking in English to Spanish children?
It's fun and it's challenging, and in all honesty they look at you sometimes as if I've got three heads because they haven't got a clue what I'm saying. But now as the time goes on they get better and better and it starts to work. So yes, it's good fun.
How do they react to you always speaking in English to them?
In the early days, in the beginning, they don't take a lot of notice. It's as if I'm not there sometimes because they don't understand what I'm saying. And then they start to take notice and then they start to comprehend what it is I'm saying with the highness and lowness of the voice. And in time, once again, it starts to progress and they get better and better.
Do you notice any progress in the children's way of speaking?
Yes, I do. But also bearing in mind the children that I teach are only between 1 and 3. So they're learning their own mother tongue, they're learning how to speak, they're putting words together, etc. And then with me talking to them all the time in English, the English words then come up as well. So it's a combination of both and them learning, and it is a good progression, yes.
Have any of the children ever spoken back to you in English?
Yes, they have, and it's a real delight and a real pleasure to hear it when they do. I've had many children come back to me, but one in particular, little girl, she just used the expression in the right context. She fell over when she was outside in the playground. She fell over one of the little cars on the floor, and as she went down, she just turned around and said, "Oops-a-daisy!" And that was just something off the top of her tongue, and she just said it, which is a common English expression.
Moving on to our last question. Do you think that after 3 years of continuous English, they should assist a bilingual school? Or does that not matter?
No, it does matter a great deal. I think they should continue going to a bilingual school because for the last 2 years they have been spoken to in English every single day that they've attended. They understand, some of them might not be able to string a conversation together at that age, but they know the words and they know exactly what I'm saying to them. They know the commands that are made: go to the toilet, wash your hands, sit down, stand up, go to lunch, etc. So they know all these commands and they understand what I'm saying to them. Now, if you take that away from a child, the foundation course that we've done with them is completely lost. So yes, you must continue.
I'm going to do an interview for a few teachers of this primary school of Cartagena named San Isidro Santa Florentina. Hello, this is Murcia and this is Miriam. They are English teacher of San Isidro Santa Florentina. Why this school is becoming bilingual?
This school is becoming bilingual because nowadays the English is very important, because here in Spain we don't have any work and the kids have to go abroad. So the kids, if they learn English from the very young ages, they will improve and probably they will get jobs in abroad or in every place.
How bilingual education improves children's skills?
I think the bilingual education improves all the skills because they learn from very little, as Miriam said. They improve learning, the hearing of the sound, and can imitate very easily, and they can read very easily, and they can write very easily because it become natural. For instance, in Virgen del Carmen school, the kids, when learn English, they get rules automatically because they put the grammar by natural. When you are a child, you learn naturally. When you are an adult, you have to think more, you have to study more the structures, and your ear, it's very difficult to get the sounds. But when you are a child, nothing is impossible, everything is easy to get and learn it.
And when this school became bilingual? This is the first year we are bilingual. We started in September. It's a little bit difficult for us because it's our first year, but we are very motivated to do it in a good way.
And teaching English in different subjects, for instance, science, it's much better because they learn English. If our kids study English just with the English book and the English subject, they never will learn English. If they learn from science, they get the structures, they get real vocabulary, and they really love it, and they really learn it.
How long have you been studying English for?
Well, I've been studying English since I was 3 years old, but up until last year, I have never been in a bilingual group.
And do you like it?
Yes, I really like it because it's a very beautiful language and I enjoy learning things about it.
Do you think you learn the same having to study some subjects in English rather than in Spanish?
On the one hand, I think that having to study some subjects in English is good for me because my level of English increases a lot, but on the other hand, I feel as if I will learn more about the subjects if it was in Spanish.
Do you have a friend that is not in a bilingual group? If so, could you tell me if you think she has the same level of English as you?
Yes, I do, and I don't think so because being in a bilingual group means that you get the chance to have foreign exchanges every single year and travel as much as you can. And it's great because it helps us to improve.
Do you find it difficult studying in a bilingual group?
I think it's hard having to study some subjects in English, but once you get used to it, it's really not that difficult.
In your point of view, what do you prefer, a bilingual or not bilingual system?
Sistema bilingüe.
Why?
Bueno, yo preferiría el sistema bilingüe fundamentalmente porque creo que al estudiante le ofrece muchas más oportunidades en el futuro que optar por una educación tradicional en español. Cuando hablo de que le ofrece muchas más posibilidades en el futuro me refiero, por ejemplo, cuando finaliza la educación primaria, finaliza la educación secundaria y está a la universidad, por ejemplo, pues no tiene por qué circunscribirse al ámbito español o no tiene por qué circunscribirse a una carrera o una titulación que se imparta en español, sino que el haber estudiado desde bien pequeñito en inglés hace que tenga tan sumamente interiorizado el inglés que prácticamente pues puede viajar a donde quiera, puede estudiar en la universidad que quiera, puede hacer lo que quiera.
Do you think teachers are qualified enough to be teaching in English?
No. Bueno, depende, evidentemente si son profesores nativos, como por ejemplo Holly, ¿no? Que vienen de Inglaterra, o gente que ya está estudiando lo que es el grado bilingüe, pues bueno, pues eso sí, probablemente ahí se va a producir un salto generacional Entonces entiendo que esos profesores probablemente en el futuro pues sí que estén preparados para asumir ese tipo de docencia, pero hoy por hoy no. Lo sé porque muchos miembros de mi familia trabajan en colegios bilingües y yo conozco el nivel de inglés que tienen. Ellos, y ya no ellos, no sus compañeros, que es mucho peor incluso, y no. O sea, hoy por hoy se te exige el nivel B2, creo recordar, para poder impartir clases en los colegios bilingües, pero claro, no tiene por qué ser el FIRST, no tiene por qué ser el título de Cambridge, sino que puede ser el Trinity, el Easy 2, alguna cosa así, que los niveles son mucho más bajos.
According to the survey, teachers in the bilingual program of Madrid teaching languages and the goal of getting students to be proficient in several languages is something indispensable, but it is necessary to change the assessment system.
Many parents are taking bilingual education because they think that teachers are not qualified enough and they are forced to study English to maintain their job, and it can also lead to the loss of the mother tongue.
This article studies the influence of bilingualism on early development. Some researchers pointed out that there are two schools of thought that concerning an infant learning two languages from birth. Bilingualism deficit hypothesis, the negative one, and bilingualism advantage hypothesis, the positive one.
And as we have seen, being bilingual is very important, but it presents difficulties as well. It depends on each person, as Juan Fillmore said. He studied 5 Spanish-speaking children who were learning English in American schools and found differences in the strategies they used to deal with tasks of learning a new language, and differences in their personal characteristics, such as language habits, motivation, social needs, and habitual approaches to problems.
I'm going to talk about bilingualism in England. The Primary School of Brighton will provide children to access this unique learning experience to the children. They believe that a world-class education should equip a child with a linguistic ability to traverse words beyond their own with aspiration to do so. Another article talks about bilingual education as a source of culture and a way to integrate immigrant children in the society. Some researchers who analyzed learning problem experience said that the classroom teacher sees the pupil not as a whole person, only a part of herself. Because the learning process depends on a student's cognitive ability, interpersonal communication skills, children's interests and attitudes, and not in the IQ level, although the relation between the second language proficiency and intelligence is unclear.
The change to a bilingual system is producing some problems, namely the teachers' deficit about their vocabulary and pronunciation, and a bad organization of a school, because they quickly change to it, especially the first years of bilingualism.
On the other hand, the students can get confused due to the fact that they are studying 2 languages, and for that reason they can feel under pressure. Finally, bilingual students don't study the subject in depth, like monolingual students do.
I'm now going to talk about some of the disadvantages of being bilingual. For a bilingual child, it can sometimes be difficult to study and to speak 2 languages because he or she can get confused. Because they have to study 2 languages at the same time, they have to work harder and have too much information to process, and therefore they may end up feeling a little under pressure. They may start speaking later on in life. Well, they need more time to process the information because they have twice as many words to learn as the non-bilingual students do. But there are also many advantages to being bilingual, such as people who have studied in a bilingual school will always have more possibilities getting a job than the people who have not. As English is the official language, when bilingual people travel abroad, they will feel qualified enough for this experience. Being bilingual is also a personal enrichment because you get to know other countries' cultures and values.
Concerning an infant learning 2 languages from birth.
Take 1, interview with Sam. Sam,
good afternoon.
How does it feel being surrounded by English people? Can you tell us in your own words? Right, Mum, first question. What's it like teaching and speaking in English to Spanish children?
Wow, what can I say? It's fun, and
They look at me sometimes as if I've maybe got 3 heads.
Because they have to study 2 languages at the same time. No. Studies? Studying in a bilingual school will always have more.
Under pressure.